Hello everyone, William here and welcome to another Wealthy Minds training session. I hope you're all doing great today, and also I hope you're all excited about learning how to generate passive income on the internet. But before we get started, please give me a 1 in the chat or actually in the questions tab if you can listen to me loud and clear. All right, getting ones, thank you. All right, so today we're going to have a very special training that will show you something I am sure you've never seen out there anywhere else. Something really powerful. And if what you want is not just to make money online, but you want to have and enjoy an amazing lifestyle, which comes from having not only an online income stream, but a passive one, then this training is definitely for you. All right. So real quick before we get started, just so the newcomers know exactly what's going on. So basically, Wealthy Minds, it's a free internet marketing community, and we have these live training calls every week. Okay, so same day, same time. So make sure to mark your calendar. The same link that you used for jumping on the call today is going to work for other calls in the future. Make sure to save that link and keep attending the webinars live. You're guaranteed to get top-notch training every time you attend. You will be able to participate in Q&A sessions. You will oftentimes qualify for important bonuses just for being here, just for staying until the very end. In fact, today you're getting a 2-hour masterclass as a bonus just for staying until the end of the webinar. And you will receive access to it during the weekend if you stay until the very end. Our system will confirm your attendance and you will receive access to the masterclass. Also, live attendees get chances to win cash prizes. Every time you attend a Wealthy Minds training session from start to finish, you get a point credit to your score in our prizes area. You don't have to go there now because you want to make sure that you stay here and that you stay focused. But after the webinar, you can go to wealthyminds.group/your-prizes and check your score if in case you attended other webinars in the future. We update scores during the weekend as well. So yeah, it's really awesome to participate on these webinars. So make sure to keep attending. Make sure to be committed with yourself, with your business, and keep attending these sessions. All right. So now let's talk about today's training. And today, you're going to be learning about a different, incredibly powerful, and very beginner-friendly model for building an online business. And I think this is an incredible model. And in my communication with you in the emails and videos and stuff that I sent to you prior to the session, I kind of mentioned that I see it as an evolution of the traditional info product thing that we have, or even an evolution for affiliate marketing, because even though it's something that's kind of similar to those things, it's far superior to the things we're used to see out there for a few reasons. But the most important one is because it's based on a royalty system, which means that you're going to have to work once, you're going to have to promote something once, and then you're going to keep earning from that for a long period of time, months, even years to come. So it's an amazing way to take advantage of the snowball effect and build a passive income stream for you. So this is incredible in the way I see it, because I think the internet is great for making money, but more than that, more than making a ton of money and becoming a millionaire or anything, the thing is that online marketing is also a way for us to make money while we have time to enjoy that money, right? So it's all about lifestyle, and there's nothing that can beat passive income when it comes to that. And nowadays, there are not many passive income strategies that truly work, that are still up to date and working these days. And this is one of those rare strategies that still works. Actually, it's a blue ocean right now. It's starting to work now. So there's a bright future ahead for those who jump on this strategy right now, okay, at this moment. Also, I think that this is incredible, and as I mentioned, very beginner friendly, because it doesn't involve selling anything. It doesn't involve creating products of any kind. It's a very simple, very straightforward system. It doesn't involve like chasing clients, negotiating deals, closing clients, things like that. So it's a simple system that allows you to build a passive stream of income in an anonymous way, working from home with just a few hours of work per week. So it's really an incredible model. And I'm pretty sure that by the time this webinar ends, you will not only agree with me, but you will be eager, anxious to take action and start using this, because you will see that it's powerful and you'll see that you can do it, that it's something that's totally attainable for you. All right, so this is the reason why I'm super excited to have our guest with us here today, because he's the man who really mastered this strategy, and he's knows how to make money without selling. He knows how to profit without creating, and he knows how to collect royalties without, hustling and doing the hard work. He really knows how to use an incredible business model that allows him to make a ton of money while still keeping control of his life and his lifestyle. All right, so our guest today is Igor Kheifets, and he's been here before, not talking about this system. He was talking about something else last time. People absolutely loved his training, and today he's got an even better one that I'm sure every single person on this webinar today will not only love, but actually feel that it's something that can truly work for them if they just take action. All right, so I hope you're excited about today's training, and I want you to give Igor a big, loud, warm welcome in the questions tab. Igor, welcome to our Wealthy Minds training session. It's amazing to have you here, and I know that you always share amazing content on your webinars, even though you don't do that many. I know that when you do it, your webinars are incredible, so I'm eager to see what you've got to share with us today. So take it away.
Thank you so very much for having me here. I'm really excited to be here, and just to make sure you guys can hear me, give me a quick shout out in the chat. I can already see some of you posting that you can see the slides. Tom, Joe, Alexandra, Ken, Alan, Bruce, Christopher. Awesome. So I'm going to assume that audio and visuals are good and we can get going. Yes? Yes. All right. Well, welcome. Today, I'm going to share with you how I earned $352,969.26 in royalty income with something that I coined as eBrokering, and how to use this hidden eBrokering online business model to tap into multiple streams of royalty-driven income from home without previous experience, even if you've never done or heard about anything like this before. Okay? Now, one thing I'll tell you right off the bat, which will not be a surprise for you, is that world's wealthiest people earn massive royalties. Sting makes $2,000 a day for every breath you take. You know the song, right? Every breath you take. So, I mean, he wrote it must like 30 years ago, and it still makes some money. Rick Astley, my daughter pranks me with his song, Never Gonna Give You Up. So he makes $250K a year from that still. Stephen King, the novelist, the horror novelist, makes $20 million a year with all kinds of royalty deals. J.K. Rowling, who wrote Harry Potter, makes $50 million a year. Keanu Reeves decided not to take a salary for The Matrix, just took a royalty and made $75 million. And Forrest Gump did the same, negotiated a royalty deal and made $40 million. Jerry Seinfeld, who I actually got to see recently in Toronto, even today, all these years later, the guy is such a professional. So he makes $40 million a year just from the syndication of Seinfeld alone, from the TV show, from the sitcom. Taylor Swift, she's a machine. She makes $100 million plus a year just from royalties. Tim Ferriss, the author of the 4-Hour Workweek. Give me a 4 in the chat if you read the 4-Hour Workweek. A fascinating book, really just a bestseller when it came out, and really came out at the very right time. When I read it, really got bitten by this automation bug and the idea that you could keep increasing your income without having to increase your workload. In fact, one thing I'm going to be sharing with you, something called e-automation, that's responsible for helping me scale my income without having to work harder, is, part of it is inspired by what Tim Ferriss is teaching and sharing in that book. Right, so I see that quite a few of you have read the book. Awesome. And, probably you also read books, at least one, by Robert Kiyosaki. He wrote dozens of them at this point, the Rich Dad series, the Cash Flow Quadrant, etc. So he makes $5 million a year from royalties. Now, with that said, here's a question I have for you. What if I could show you a way to get royalty checks like the one you're seeing on the screen without being an author or writing anything, without being a singer or performer, without being a movie star, without licensing intellectual property, without patenting a new invention, or being a genius, without creating any products or anything like that. Like Bill here, for example, from New Jersey, who is enjoying a royalty income between $3,000 and $6,000 a month. In fact, when he started with me, he was paying off student loan debt and he couldn't let go of his day job, so he had to do it before going to work, and in just 90 days hit the 3K a month. Or like Anthony here, who said that he had a record-breaking month making $40,000 over and above his job income while still attending the rugby practices for both of his sons who play professionally. Now, in the next 60 minutes, you'll discover how to stop trading hours for dollars and achieve financial freedom with this strategy without chasing friends and family away, without becoming a sleazy salesperson or a shady marketer that people avoid, without getting another license or a degree or going back to school, without phone calls, doing Zoom meetings, or doing any sort of presentations, without building complicated websites or funnels, without wasting time on strategies that take years to work, without relying on luck, without posting endlessly on social media, and without trading time for money, which is my least favorite thing after social media. Now, you don't need to be famous to earn royalties. You just have to be smart, or should I say smarter than the average person. Now, if you are, I'll show you how to make $100, $300, and even $998.50 and special kind of royalty payments anyone can start collecting today. My name is Igor Kafetz, and I'm an e-broker. I work on my own schedule. I live on my terms. I can take off on a trip anytime I wish, and I don't have a boss I gotta beg for a vacation, a raise, or a day off. I enjoy location-independent income, so I can earn money while traveling and spending time with my family. What was once impossible for me is now real, thanks to accidentally stumbling into a weird money-making strategy I coined as e-brokering. Now, this is me. On the left there, I know it's hard to believe, but I did have blonde hair back in the day. And this is me, my mom, my dad, my brother, my older brother. And I grew up in Ukraine. And in Ukraine, we were kind of okay. I mean, we were just like everybody else. We weren't necessarily rich, but we weren't struggling either. We even had a car, which my dad was really proud of. And at one point, my dad decided to make an investment. Now, back then in Ukraine, you could invest in the stock market, in the S&P 500. There certainly wasn't any Bitcoin back then. My dad actually decided to invest in a farm. So back in the Soviet Union, there used to be the state-owned farms, and then they became privatized. And so he decided to invest in one of them in order to get a production going and start like producing and then supplying produce to restaurants and different businesses. Now, he didn't have the money necessarily, like he only had so much in savings, and so he had to borrow money from a local gangster named Nikolai Makarenko. Now, this is not Nikolai Makarenko. This is not his photo. There's no photos of Nikolai Makarenko. He's dead now. He got shot at one point. But back then he was the big kahuna, the big guy in town. And, if you needed money, you go to him. But of course, it came with a fine print, or maybe pretty obvious fine print. If you ask me, you had to pay him the money and interest or else. And so just so it happened that the guy who ran the farm, my dad gave him the money and relied on him to do his job, his bit. He ended up spending the money on gambling, prostitutes, having fun. He just burns the money, right? So he could have just as easily flushed it down the toilet. And my dad couldn't recover the money from him. And so what we had to do, we had to sell everything. We had to sell our car, had to sell the apartment that my dad earned by being in the Soviet military before the Soviet Union fell apart. We had a 2-bedroom apartment, which was rare at the time. So you can even say that we were kind of like well off, upper middle class, if you will. And so we had to sell everything, and with just $1,000 to our name and 12 big bags containing all of our possessions, we moved to Israel by using our Jewish connection. Both my parents were Jewish. So we immigrated to Israel for a new start. Now in Israel, things were tough. We actually remained below poverty line. We, having to, amass crazy credit card debt, go into cut out coupons from the magazines, like everything. I remember going grocery shopping with my mom. Things got so bad that she would put like a $20 grocery bill. She would try to split it into three payments on the card, and she would, we were basically whatever we ate that day, we were still paying it off for many months to come. And it was just frustrating. So I grew up very poor. This is where I actually used to live. We used to rent an apartment here, and it kind of sucked. So, my parents, they believed in the same sort of story, the legend that we've all been sold on, which turns out to be a lie. And that is, care to guess? I'm sure you guys know what the legend is. The legend is you go to school, you get good grades, and if you study hard, you grow up and you'll get a good job and you'll be great, you'll be fine, you'll get rich. Well, that turns out to be a bunch of BS. But I didn't know that at the time. And my parents, my mom was a music teacher, and my dad was a mechanical engineer by trade. So they ended up sending me to the Israeli Air Force Academy as a cadet. So this is me on the left there. I was a little chubby. That's me back when I was 14 with my buddy Misha leaning against like an F-14 plane, I think. I went to school, I got good grades, I did everything I was told. And then after, doing my service as well and being discharged, I went and I tried to look for a job. And the best I could find, even with my credentials, which are pretty cool, I mean, they were pretty good, was at this chemical factory. Now, this is a job, I'll tell you, I don't wish this job on my worst, maybe I do wish it on my worst enemy, but not my second worst enemy. I mean, the job kind of sucked. We were producing pesticide and chemical gooey, green gooey, liquid that we would then ship to Argentina and Brazil. And it was very, very toxic. It was literally toxic for you. So you're only allowed to work for 45 minutes before they force you to go out and breathe outside for 15 minutes. You weren't allowed to remain within the factory that long. You had to put on a full-on hazmat suit, and before going home, you had to go through a chemical shower. Now, the job was literally the kind of job that could kill you because I remember one guy, a younger guy, he was I think 19 years old at the time. He for some reason was like shy to take a shower with everybody. Now I was used to it because I was in the army, but apparently he skipped that, and he just did not take the chemical shower for about a month. So he would work, not take the shower, and go straight home and take the shower at home. Now within a month, he felt something, went to the doctor, came back, and the doctor told him that he's got an early onset of cancer. This is 19-year-old kid we're talking about here. There were many other guys who were much older who worked at that facility for, 10, 20 years, who ended up dying of lung cancer, skin cancer, all kinds of cancer. So this job could literally kill you. For me, though, at the time, because I'm still fairly young, that wasn't the worst part. The worst part was the rat race. My life had no meaning. I had no opportunities. I was wasting my life away every day at that job. I would wake up, go to work, come back from work, watch something, eat something, go to bed, wake up, and repeat the cycle all over again, living in Groundhog Day. Now, tell me if you guys can relate, but I don't think that this is the way to live a life. And I could be, unreasonable about this, but I don't think I am. I think there's more to life than just, going to work and coming back from work. So I was looking for something. I was looking for more. I was looking for answers. I had many, many questions and I was looking for answers. I knew it cannot be it. Like I was barely into my adulthood and I already hated my life. I had a job that I hated that actually wasn't earning me any real money. I had no real friends. I had no girlfriend. I couldn't travel. I couldn't afford any good stuff in life. And then when I was browsing the internet one weekend, I stumbled into this. Many of you might recognize this. This is a screenshot from the movie The Secret, where Bob Proctor, the late Bob Proctor now, is explaining the law of attraction. When I saw this, and give me a 5 in the chat if you actually saw this or not, because this was like a big turning point in my life. I was like, wow, I can really change my life if I think different, if I just change my behavior, change my thoughts, change my patterns. And this inspired me on this self-development journey. And I, bumped into Dale Carnegie, How to Win Friends and Influence People. Tony Robbins went through his programs. Give me a six in the chat if any of you have gone through any of this stuff. Dale Carnegie on how to become more confident, how to, become, better and more social. Tony Robbins, it inspired me to lose weight, to start dating. Like it really felt like I was grabbing a hold and control over my life. Reading Rich Dad Poor Dad made me start asking the questions: how can I afford things? How can I make money? It opened my eyes to the fact that if I go to school and study hard, it's not guaranteeing me to become rich. It's not gonna guarantee anything for me, in fact. So a lot of this stuff was eye-opening and life-changing. And I ended up investing thousands of dollars in improving myself. And I absolutely loved it. I improved my confidence and social skills. I got clear on what I wanted. I gained a belief in myself and my abilities to achieve my goals. I lost weight, I started dating, and I'm actually, married to that same woman today. We got two beautiful kids who've got my last name and her face, which is amazing. I couldn't be happier with that. I increased my income. I became more productive. I improved my relationships, and I finally felt in control over my life, which is to me one of the sweetest feelings in the world. It's the ability to know, or it's the knowledge that you have the ability to influence what's happening in your life. Now, how many of you, give me a seven in the chat, if you would love that sense of control, that you're in charge of your life and you're calling the shots, and you can either walk away from something you don't like, or you can do something you want because you want it and you don't need any other reason. Awesome. So once I went through this journey, as you probably, I'm sure many of you had the same thought at one point. I figured, man, wouldn't it be cool to become one of those guys who helps people improve their lives, teaches them something, and makes them, helps them lose weight, or makes them happier, or helps them get more confidence, or helps them fix a relationship, etc. And do you make a living that way? Because I was looking at guys like Tony Robbins, and the Bob Proctor and the like, and I was like, man, these guys, they have like these giant giant stadiums full of people coming to see them, and I really really wanted to be that. But I was reminded very often by both my own self-esteem and my inner, voice, as well as all of my friends and family, that I'm a nobody. I had no credentials, no formal teaching education or experience, and I certainly hadn't had any success stories or any kind of methodology. So, like for someone like me, that's just impossible, right? Until I stumbled into this article, not this specific one, but kind of like this one, that was inviting me to enroll into what's called an education program. So it's an education program, a mentoring program that's done entirely online. And the person recommending for me to enroll says that if I enroll through this link he's sharing, he's going to give me a bonus that's actually worth just as much as the program that I would be enrolling into, which I actually wanted to enroll in regardless, whether or not he was offering a bonus. And it got me thinking, wait a minute, so he's actually making something here, right? Because he was openly talking about this. He was saying that he's going to earn a royalty if I join, and he was willing to make it worthwhile for me. And so obviously anyone who read that article, he was expressing that, and I was like, wow, that's amazing. So he's offering a bonus. If I get in, he's going to make money. I'm going to, get what I want. And I wonder if I can do this, because I never knew that you can actually do stuff like that and get royalties. And as soon as I discovered it, it really hit me as the perfect but hidden income opportunity. Think about it. You don't create the product. Someone else is doing the whole e-education thing. You don't do any selling. You don't handle the delivery. You don't do the customer support. You certainly don't deal with collections or payment processing, but you get half the bounty. Now that's amazing. It's like you build a house, like you wanted to sell a house, right? But you didn't build the house. You didn't get the permits. You didn't get the land. You didn't work with the contractor, nothing. You just kind of tell somebody, hey, this house is for sale, and if you get it, I'm going to give you a nice bonus, and you get half the price somebody pays for that house. I think that's incredible. And I started thinking, can I do it? Like if that guy's a nobody, can I do it? I'm a nobody. He's a nobody. He's doing it. Can I do it? And so I went down this rabbit hole, but I ended up with just more questions, really, until I stuck at it for long enough. In fact, I'll be honest with you, I stuck at it for about 3.5 years. So I was really, really excited about this idea. I really wanted to figure it out. And I finally was able to get my first royalty check of $124.37, which finally, once and for all, shut all of my naysayers up, especially my father, who told me I was dreaming and who told me that I should stop wasting time and go get a real job. So that check, that real check, finally shut him up. And what's really cool is that whatever I was doing, slowly but surely, my results built up over time. And a lot of this stuff, a lot of these royalties were paying me every single month and ended up going into quite a substantial income streams. In fact, I now have dozens of income streams that I've built throughout the years that are producing sometimes a couple of $1,000s a month, sometimes 7 to 8,000 a month, sometimes a couple of $100 a month. But when you've got 10 or 15 of these, it really adds up. Now, my royalty-driven income grows every year, which is why I keep getting checks like you're seeing here. The one on the left for $211,000 and the one on the right for $157,000. Not all payments come in or royalties come in through checks. They do come in through other stuff like wires and all kinds of payments. So as you can see, there's plenty of income there. And it funds my dream lifestyle, which again, as I shared earlier, I never thought is even possible for me. It was just something that I saw on TV, flying on a private jet with my kids, or driving a Porsche GTS, or living in a really big house. I was able to create a comfortable nest egg, just in case if anything happens to me. And what's good is that I'm doing all this while having the time of my life and really crossing items off my bucket list, racing supercars, flying planes, traveling a whole lot, attending matches, spending time with my family, just the kind of life that honestly sometimes I have to pinch myself to really just make sure it's real, because I could say I got lucky, I guess, but I will take some credit for what happened. And after helping a bunch of other people do the same, I'm sure there's more to it than just luck. Now, keep in mind, I do not call people on the phone or conduct any meetings in person or get on Zoom calls or anything like that. Obviously, there are times when I would get on a call if I choose to, but I really don't have to. And you might at this point have some questions like, why is it called eBrokering? What are we getting paid royalties for? And what's most effective way to earn royalties with this method for beginners? So what I would like to do is I would like to share with you, answer all these questions, and to share with you how to get started today with this method. I'll share with you my 3-step eBrokering system that's responsible for bringing in payments like this for me. I will show you the same system I showed Paul that is able to earn more than $10,000 in 30 days. To start, let me just introduce you to Tanya. Tanya is a mortgage broker. Tanya makes money by connecting borrowers and lenders. She collects a percentage of the money she arranges for the lender, aka commission or premium, so the bank pays her. And Tanya has lots of meetings, most of which do not convert into a signature on the dotted line. And she makes lots of phone calls, often having to follow up and do crazy follow-up just to try and push people off the fence. She's stuck in a cubicle in a branch and has to answer to an annoying boss, and she's drowning in paperwork. So let's not be like Tanya. Meet Jeffrey. He's an insurance broker. Jeffrey makes money by finding the right insurance policy for people, and he makes a commission when they sign up. And Jeffrey's phone is pretty much taped to his ear. He can't take a bathroom break without the phone ringing off the hook. He can't afford to miss a phone call, even if it's in the middle of the night, or a text message, because his clients will just get insurance with another broker because they're a commodity. Okay, let's face it, insurance brokers are a commodity. He too has to deal with two most annoying things in the world, people and paperwork. So give me a 9 in the chat if you agree that these are the two most annoying things in the world, people and paperwork. I really hate filling out, paperwork, and I honestly, maybe it's because I'm introverted, not very fond of people in general. Now, this is me, and I'm an e-broker. I make money by connecting people to high-value digital education, aka e-learning programs. I don't talk to people. I don't spend a lot of time like working or being stuck in meetings or anything. In fact, no meetings at all. Like meetings are just not part of my daily agenda. I spend a lot of time with my family instead, and I get to travel a lot. And I'm making a living by helping people improve their lives, which is most important, something I can be proud of. No commute, no boss, no paperwork. Now, what is e-brokering exactly, you're thinking? Well, e-brokering is a process of earning royalties for connecting learners with high-value e-learning programs. E-brokers don't sell, create, or fulfill. They help people by connecting them to the right digital education programs. They're connectors, right? They're not creators. E-brokering is a highly lucrative opportunity because e-learning programs pay some of the highest royalties in the world. It's common for e-brokers to collect 50 to 75% as a one-time royalty and as much as 35% as a recurring royalty on a month-to-month basis. Now, why do e-brokers get paid so much money? Well, it's simple. You see, in 2025, e-learning already reached $185 billion as a market, as an opportunity, and it is expected to double by 2030. Now, compare this to the entire coffee industry, so Starbucks, Dunkin' Donuts, etc., and the entire coffee industry is only $126 billion big. Airbnb market is worth only $113 billion. E-learning spending is now bigger than the movie industry because people on average spend about $1,450 per year on e-learning. Yes, I know that's a bit shocking, right? I mean, a movie ticket will cost, I don't know what, I don't know, 20 some bucks or whatever, depending on where you live. But when people get into e-learning, they really want to spend money because they get results and they invest more in themselves because your skill is yours for life, which makes it a much better investment than a movie ticket or a cup of coffee. And e-learning is expected to reach 82.5 million people in USA alone, but it's actually a much bigger market worldwide, and it is now really big in pretty much every language in every country on every continent. Now, translating all these statistics, which can be quite boring, and that is this: e-learning is in high demand, it is only growing, and there's a ton of money to be made if you do not sit on your hands. Now, what kind of e-learning programs can you e-broker? You can do health programs around losing weight, conquering diabetes, fertility solutions, building muscle, alternative medicine, mental health like depression, anxiety, etc. You can do relationship stuff like getting your ex back, fixing marriage, communication with loved ones, recovering from divorce, finding your soulmate, and more. You can do wealth stuff like make money investing in stocks, crypto, binary options, buying gold and silver, and all kinds of alternative investment assets like art and more. You can do professional skills, like if there is a profession of any kind, it has its own e-learning industry, and I'll show you how to get into it. And there's other stuff. There's really tons and tons that won't fit into a single presentation slide. There's things like spirituality, credit repair, manifestation, parenting, a business, growing your own vegetables in your garden. Gardening is a big one, woodworking, fishing, survival, skiing. I mean, Pickleball, believe it or not, there's like a big market for e-learning in pickleball, which is largely considered the most popular sport right now. So, with that said, would you like to know my three-step system to e-brokering success? Give me a one in the chat if you're excited to find out how this whole thing works. And meantime, I'll just take a sip. All right, cool. I can see you guys are excited. Awesome. So, here's what I would like to share with you in the coming minutes. Where to find lucrative e-learning programs that pay high royalties, the most effective way to share these e-learning royalty programs with avid learners. And, let me just tell you that if you're worried about not being able to do this for any reason, then I'll just say that if you can forward an email, you can actually do this and I'll prove it. And how to work smart to scale your e-royalty income without having to work your tail off, right? So going back to the 4-hour work week, how can you automate this whole thing so it produces money for you even while you sleep? So step one, where do we find e-learning royalty programs? Well, there's networks, there's marketplaces like Coursera, Skillshare, Thinkific, Udemy, and those are very popular with hundreds of thousands of members. And there's a ton of these platforms out there. There's Masterclass where just the celebrities are teaching. There's Teachable, there's LinkedIn Learning, there's edX, lots and lots of them, really no shortage of them. And if you go to their website at the bottom, you can usually find a partnership link where they're inviting you to become a partner. Now, the downside of partnering with those marketplaces is that you get paid a small royalty of just 10 to 15%. What this means, for you to make any real money, you need to refer hundreds, if not thousands of members. You also just get paid once, not every time an e-learner enrolls in a course. So there's no passive income for you, even though an average e-learner enrolls into like 7 or 8 courses rather than just one. And you're competing with huge influencers on social media who create content around these platforms who are after your royalties, and we just don't want to compete with them. Really, no reason for us to do so. In fact, we can stack the odds in our favor and play a much easier game that we can win. A much better way to earn e-learning royalties is to partner up with private e-learning royalty programs by invitation only that pay 40, 50, and even 60% royalties. Now, what's really cool about that is not only your royalties much higher, but the price points are much higher too, where these high-end digital education programs are priced at $500,000 and even $5,000, which is amazing because if you're getting 50% of $1,000, that's $500, and you only need a couple of these per month to cover some of your basic expenses. Now, there's also software and memberships with recurring royalties, which pay you every single month. Now, who here, show of hands, would like for me to share my private Rolodex of premium e-learning royalty programs with them? These are the programs that I personally got involved with that have made me 6 figures or more as a result of this partnership. So give me a show of hands in the chat. Give me, I don't know, give me a 2 in the chat if you'd like for me to give this to you. All right. Ken, Joe, Alexandra, Lay, David, awesome. So more about that in a minute. Next, step 2 in my 3-step system is how to share the e-learning programs to earn the royalties, right? Because that's really the crux of it. How do you get in front of the right e-learners? Because we don't want to get in front of people who are not already buying these programs. So let me just start by saying I tried it all. I chased friends and family away. I grew dedicated social media accounts. I built blogs and wrote lots of articles. I shot video reviews of e-learning programs and put it up on YouTube, which was very embarrassing because all my friends and family saw that and made fun of me. But none of this worked until I met this guy. His name is Jason. He's from Florida, from I don't remember what the city was, either St. Petersburg or Jupiter, Florida, or something like that. And so I met him through a community of e-brokers, people who are actually doing this. And I connected with him, and turns out he, at the time, was working full-time for a bank. And at the same time, he had lots of downtime, and so he decided to get into e-brokering, and he built up his e-brokering income in over $10,000 a month. I said, you work a full-time job and you make 10K a month with e-broker? He said, yes. It's like, I don't believe you. I said, fine. So we got on a call. He shared his screen and he showed me the actual payments. Now, at that point, I was sold, kind of like that scene in The Wolf of Wall Street where Leonardo DiCaprio is having breakfast, and he talks, Jonah Hill's character approaches him. He's like, is that your portion of driver? He's, yeah. How much do you make? Oh, I made 50 grand. It's like, did you make 50 grand? Yes. Show me a pay stub, and I quit my job and I go working for you. That was kind of like the situation between me and Jason, only I wasn't gonna work for him. I paid him to teach me how to do it. Now, I also asked him, it's like, Jason, you already make 10 grand a month plus with this every month. Why would you need to keep your day job? To which he said, well, man, when you've got 3 ex-wives and 4 children, even 10K extra on top of your job income is not enough. And, he had this thing, he just had this, I don't know, vice or whatever. He would always end up with women, make a baby, divorce. So it was kind of like a pattern for him. In fact, one time was driving with him, and he got a phone call. He had to pull over, and he was shocked. And when he hung up, I said, who was that? I thought someone died. And he says, it was my son. I was like, oh, is everything okay? He's like, yeah. I was like, which one of the 4? It's like, oh no, it was the 5th one. It was a son he never knew even existed, who on his 16th birthday decided to call his father. So that's Jason in a nutshell. But he's a brilliant e-broker, and he showed me the ropes, and he taught me how to do this. And what he taught me shocked me, because the secret all this time to make big royalty income was in my inbox. It's the one place I never thought to look. And I'm not talking about spamming people. No, I'm talking about permission-based emails, 100% legal, white hat, and above board. The same kind of emails that Tony Robbins sends out, Tim Ferriss sends out, Robert G. Allen sends out, the late Jim Rohn's company still sends out, Joe Vitale, Mr. Fire, who's actually also into e-brokering very much. Jordan Belfort of the Wolf of Wall Street book and movies, movie and books, I'm sorry. The late Bob Proctor's company, Proctor Gallagher Institute, sends emails all the time. Even Oprah sends out permission-based emails. Now, if you're thinking, well, okay, Igor, but I don't know how to write an email with, as it relates to e-learning, I say, don't worry, because the only question is, can you forward an email? Now, give me a yes, no in the chat. Can you forward an email, yes or no? Because if you can, I can show you how you too can earn royalty income with eBrokering, because it's as simple as forwarding an email. Okay, I'm seeing lots of yeses coming in. I mean, obviously it's a loaded question, guys. I know that what it sounds like, but I trust me, what I'm saying here is for real. Look, these recommendation letters that you need to send out, kind of forward to people, are already written for you. That's all you have to know. You don't actually have to be like an email copywriter or anything like that. Fine, you say, but how do I build an email database of e-learners without it taking forever? Where do I even start? Well, for that, I have an incredible shortcut, which I would like to share with you right now. It's called Rent an Email Database. And what it is you can actually rent out other people's e-learner databases on a one-off basis for pennies on the dollar. So they actually help you build your email database and put e-learners on your email database. Now it's a win-win-win, because for you, you get to build your email database really fast, and you do it with e-learners who are already investing in e-learning programs. So it's the best kind of person you want on your email database. For the other person who owns an email database, that's a great way to quickly make some money. Right, so very easy. All they have to do is just send out an email blast. And it's kind of like if you own your own radio station, right? You can get a sponsor to pay you to make an announcement. So it's kind of like that. And for the e-learner, it's a win because they get exposed to incredible e-learning opportunities. It's an easy deal to make with these email publishers. Actually, there's very little resistance from them because to them, it's just another way to monetize the email database. And so using this strategy, you can grow your email database very quickly in a matter of weeks, actually, not years. Here's an example of me blowing up an email database by adding over 1,000 email addresses per day to the database, allowing me to build a database of over 47,000 emails in a matter of just a few weeks. Now, again, I will remind you that this is 100% CAN spam and GDPR compliant stuff, okay? This is 100% above board. And then it's a rinse and repeat method that you can do as many times as you wish to grow your email database and your income. Here's another example of me blowing up a database from zero in March to 83.6 thousand email addresses by February. So about 8 months or so. I mean, I averaged out, 500 per day or something like that. So, I mean, it's truly, truly, truly incredible shortcut. So I showed it to Suhei from LA, who put 1,053 email addresses on the database and started making royalties right away. Alia from Georgia put 2.1 thousand on. Alexander from New York, 2.9 thousand. Billy from Jacksonville, 1.2 thousand. I showed it to Darren, who actually went to his first $100 day and shortly after to his first $300 day in just a couple of months. Okay, he was able to put thousands of people on his email database and continues to grow every day. Now, show of hands, give me a 6 in the chat if you want my go-to e-learners rented databases. So the databases that I routinely work with to continuously pump email addresses of e-learners into my database and growing and growing and scaling without actually having to work my butt off, because all this is automated, right? So when you make this deal, you don't have to do manual labor, you don't have to produce content. They just send out an email and direct people to you, and you collect them on your email database. So show of hands, put a 6 in the chat if you would like my Rolodex for that. Okay, you guys are smart cookies, of course. Yes, lots of 6s that I can see in the chat here. Awesome. Now, the step 3 in my system is what I call e-automation, and that's the secret sauce to scaling your e-brokering income without having to work harder and start making some big payments. Now, it all comes down to one question. How are you going to send a recommendation letter to over 47,000 people? Are you going to copy and paste that email 47 times? Are you gonna manually by hand type in 47,000 emails? I don't think you want to do that because you'll die of exhaustion. Kind of like in that episode of Seinfeld, if anyone remembers, when George's bride, I don't remember her name, was it Susan? Where she was like, they were too cheap to outsource the envelope stuffing, and then she ended up licking too many envelopes and died of glue poisoning. So, we don't want that, right? And even if it's email and not physical mail, still it's going to take forever to do that much email. So instead, we're going to use a solution. We're going to use something called e-automation to send thousands of emails without doing the work yourself. And what we have to do is just copy and paste the email one time, the email that was already pre-written for us. Yes, we get that email. We don't write that email, we get it. I'll show you where to get it. And then we copy and paste it and hit send. And then the software, the e-automation software, is going to send it out 47,000 times while you kick back and watch Netflix, okay? So you can sit back and then collect the royalties that come in as a result of your email database of e-learners being exposed to the next e-learning opportunity. Now, why is it so powerful? This is where it's important to do some math. This is where the numbers really can show you the truth. As my good friend likes to say, follow the numbers, right? Numbers don't lie. So let's imagine you have an email database that grows by 100 email addresses every day for the next 30 days. And so you every day you load an e-letter with some sort of e-learning program recommendation. Let's say it's going to take you 10 minutes, although it should take you way less, but let's say you're really slow. Okay, maybe you just only work with one finger and one hand with your eyes, blindfolded, and whatever. 10 minutes, okay, to copy and paste an email into this software, and you hit send. And let's say you get a measly 5% conversion on what you do here. So you still get 5 royalty payments. Now, if that royalty payment is, let's say, $50 or $100, that's not bad, right? I mean, that's pretty significant. But let's say it's $50. So you make what? $250 in this case. Now, the day 2, you've added 100 more email addresses to the database. Now your database is 200 email addresses. So now you load the next e-letter. Let's say it takes you 10 minutes, and you get the same 5% conversion rate, but this time, because your email database is twice the size, you get twice as many royalty payments. Again, absent any other changes, just your list, just your email database growing, okay, absent any other changes, you've now effectively doubled your royalty income. So if you've made $250 on day 1, you've now made $500 on day 2. Now, this process rinse and repeats itself, and by day 30, you have 3,000 email addresses. And you once again load the next e-letter with a program recommendation, takes you 10 minutes, you get the same 5% conversion. You know what? Let's say you get even a 1% conversion. You're still going to make a ton of royalty payments as a result. And look at what's happening here. No matter what your email database size is, right? You're still investing the same 10 minutes, but your income continues to multiply. So absent anything else, absent any other changes, just growing a larger email database will result in more royalty payments and a bigger royalty income. So, do you now see and understand exactly how this e-automation thing really allows you, enables you to earn a massive income without having to work your butt off around the clock? Give me a 7 in the chat if you understand the math here. I know sometimes numbers can be confusing, but I really made sure to make it crystal clear. This is the ultimate secret to making a huge amount of money online with this strategy without being working and tied to your desk 24/7, 365. This is how you're seeing all these people out there bragging that they've made $1 million while traveling the world for 180 days out of that calendar year. It would not be possible without e-automation. Okay. All right. Yes. Okay. Lots of 7s in the chat. So from this, we conclude that the more your email database grows, the more your income grows without you having to work harder. Now, in a bit, I'll also be sharing with you how you can get 30 days of e-automation for free, plus which is the best e-automation software to use, because once again, there are lots of options out there and not all of them are made equal. So if you're excited about that, give me an 8 in the chat, just so I know. So now let's recap what we've covered so far. We've covered my 3-step e-brokering system, where I shared with you the lucrative e-learning programs that pay high royalties. I shared with you the most effective way to share these e-learning royalty programs with avid learners. And this is how, if you can forward an email, you can actually do this. And I shared with you how to work smart to scale your royalty income without working your tail off using something called e-automation. So you too can start making royalty income with eBrokering, like Dermon here, who built a 4.4 thousand email address database and was able to achieve a $370 day, actually 2 hours. He made that money in just 2 hours, which is amazing because he barely spoke English when he came for help, asking for help. Or like Daz here, who says he's now making all his income online and that he couldn't have done it without me. Or like Chris here, who says Igor's training program has made me more money in a single week than all other things that I've ever done online. Or like Daniel from Sweden, the only guy no, the only other guy who I trained from Sweden, who just had his first $2,500 month. Now the question then becomes, would you like me to take you by the hand and show you in depth how to build a successful royalty income e-learning program? I'm sorry, royalty income with e-learning programs, while you follow along click by click and step by step. Give me a yes, no in the chat, please, just so I know. Would you like me to give you all my templates, shortcuts, and hacks to help you make maximum royalties in minimum time? Would you like to discover the fastest way to have a wildly profitable e-brokering business in just 30 minutes a day in the next 30 days? Show of hands, yes, no in the chat. Would you like me to go there? Would you like me to explain to you how this can be possible for you? Okay, I've seen lots of yeses in the chat. I see one no. All right, cool. If your answer is no, then you probably won't get very much value out of this training moving forward. But if the answer is yes, then I would like to introduce you to what I call the 30-day e-brokering system, wildly profitable royalty-driven business in just 30 minutes per day. Now, why my e-brokering system? Because I've got building profitable royalty-driven businesses down to a process and a system. The system eliminates guesswork, and the system is easily duplicatable by a complete beginner. So I'll show you how to put together your entire e-brokering system from scratch without any technical experience, which will speed up your progress, eliminate confusion, and will help you avoid overwhelm. Because I don't teach on theory, I don't do textbooks, I don't do workbooks. Instead, I show you paint by colors, paint between the lines kind of activity where I do and you follow along on the screen. In other words, you don't have to get stuck in theory or go through like 100 hours of content. Like, I really hate it when people tell me, oh, we've got 100 hours of recorded content about this subject matter. Well, dude, who's got time to go through 100 hours of recorded content for something? If I'm going to bring a mentor into my life, I really want the mentor to tell me exactly, do this, don't do that. This is the fastest and the best way to do it, right? Am I right or am I wrong on this, guys? This is what a mentor should do. My system takes you from $0 to $10,000 a month in e-learning royalty income in 5 phases. Phase 1, called e-learning royalty income streams. So this is where I show you where and how to find highly profitable, highly lucrative e-learning royalty programs, proven way to get accepted into these programs by invitation only, actually, without previous experience or credentials, how to set up your payout profile to get your royalty payments without a hitch on time, how to set up a professional e-broker profile to be offered the best opportunities. Don't worry, it's not a public profile, it's just something that you need to show to those who own those lucrative income streams. A suite of automation productivity tools to organize your entire e-brokering business so it runs like a well-oiled machine. 3 go-to platforms crammed with high-converting e-learning royalty programs. My secret go-to spot for highly lucrative e-learning software hybrid royalty programs with recurring components so you can get paid month after month after month. And the one thing that makes any royalty program instantly 3 times more profitable, and where to look for it. Now in phase 2, I'm going to share with you how to make deals with email publishers, where to find those email publishers so you can rent their databases for pennies on the dollar, exactly what to say to them so they're agreeable and want to work with you long term, and the one phrase that gets email publishers to drop up to 30% off their rental fee without resistance. In phase 3, I'll show you how to grow your email database, how to automatically, ethically, and legally add hundreds of e-learners, email addresses every day to your email database to build a huge database within weeks and not years, even if you're starting from scratch. How to seamlessly obtain permission to send them recommendation letters with e-learning programs that they'll love so you're compliant at all times with the Can't Spam Act and GDPR, and how to collect email recipients into e-automation automatically without having to load them one by one, which will save you hours and hours every single day. In phase 4, we're going to talk about growing your income with the automation, where to find done-for-you recommendation letters for every e-learning royalty program you become a part of, how to forward the done-for-you recommendation letters to your email database with a few clicks using e-automation, and how to set up automated recommendation letters to be sent to every new email recipient joining your e-learners database, even if it's 2 a.m., so you can make money while you sleep. In phase 5, we'll be scaling your income to $10,000 a month and beyond, which is where I'm going to share with you how to set up multiple streams of royalty income from day one, how to go from zero to your first $1,000 in royalty income, and exactly the exact blueprint to scaling from $1,000 a month to $10,000 a month and beyond in royalty income without working harder. And trust me when I say this, guys, the path to scaling from $1,000 to $10,000 a month with e-royalty income is so much easier than getting started with it. The hardest part is getting started, and this is the part where I'm going to show you the fastest, the absolute easiest way to get started, which I wish somebody would show me when I was getting going. Now, if this all wasn't amazing, imagine if there was a technology that would make this whole process even easier and even less time consuming. This is called eBrokering AI Suite. It's a collection of secret AI tools that we developed to help you eliminate analysis paralysis, automate research, and save time growing and running your e-brokering business. These tools aren't available for sale anywhere. I've created them specifically for myself and my students. These tools will help you automate the process of locating and finding the best e-learning royalty income streams. They will help you decide which income stream to use and which to avoid. They will help you write high converting recommendation letters for you for any e-learning royalty program you choose. They will help you even write entire sequences consisting of 5, 10, even 15 recommendation emails and letters. They will help you identify the best e-learning niches to pursue. They'll help you come up with the right branding and positioning for your e-brokering business profile, and they will help you create bonuses you can give to e-learners who act on your recommendation to increase your income and much, much, much more. Now, someone once said that knowing what to do is one thing, but actually doing it and doing it the right way is another, which is why mentoring is so important. This is also why I'm going to do live weekly coaching with you, where every week I host a live coaching session where I help you apply what you've learned, avoid common mistakes, and fast track your results. This way, you're never left wondering, am I doing this right? What should I be doing next? Because you'll have real-time guidance, direct feedback, and support from me and my team to keep you moving forward. You will get personalized feedback on your unique situation, and it'll help you stay accountable and on track to avoid falling into a familiar trap of starting something and quitting halfway. This is actually why this live coaching component is so important, because I don't want you to fall into this familiar trap where you've bought a program before and never really did anything with it, or where you joined the program but it never really met expectations, and you kind of found yourself maybe going through hours and hours and hours of video or reading pages and pages and pages of instructions but never really getting anywhere, so you became more overworked and ended up spending more money than you actually made. I don't want you to be like that guy on the left who for some reason kind of looks like Mel Gibson, but this is not Mel Gibson, obviously. I want you to be like the guy on the right who joins the program, follows the system, sets it up, and then the system starts paying him big dividends. So it's a gift that keeps on giving. That's my goal with you. So let me just say that this is not just another course. This is so much more, okay, than just another course. This is accountability, coaching, a software suite of tools we built for you. But most importantly, it's a system that's super easy to implement for anyone, even if they're a complete beginner. And all I'm asking you in return is to give it 30 minutes a day for the next 30 days to see for yourself how it works, so you can build highly lucrative, semi-passive royalty-driven income like I did. And this thing scales, by the way. Here's a screenshot from my PayPal. $6.7 million just in my PayPal account alone. All right. There's been many more millions outside of PayPal too. Now, you're probably wondering, how much is this going to cost? Well, I gotta say, and I'll just kind of mention the elephant in the room, that I charge $8,000 for one-on-one coaching. But for webinar attendees only, who probably need this more than anything and do not have $8,000, so I'm gonna put together a really special offer here, okay? And I'll show you a way to get my system for a tiny fraction of that price. Now, first though, I want you to meet Kevin from Nottingham, who used to work construction and who discovered eBrokering but could not figure it out. And so he approached me to help him because working construction was killing him. He had to work for 2 weeks at a time. So he would leave home 2 weeks at a time. He would leave his wife and his 2 sons at home alone, which was, again, killing him. He really hated it. But he kept the job because the money was okay. So he approached me and said, "Can you teach me?" I said, "Kevin, it's going to cost $8,000. He said, "Well, I don't have 8, but I can pay you in monthly installments." So he paid me $2,000 up front, and we got working together. And I showed him exactly what to do. And the results were incredible because he was able to put together a down payment on a brand new family home and quit his day job with internet money. Money that even his wife did not, believe was real. But now they can own a home thanks to that. So I think that's incredible. And he's able to ditch his 9 to 5, although later he admitted that because they had another baby, so I ended up with 3 boys instead of 2, he ended up getting like an office outside of home just so he could focus. Now, Kevin did pay me the entire $8,000 fee. And my question to you is this: would you like me to coach you how to make money with e-learning royalty programs like I did for Kevin, but without paying the $8,000 fee that he paid for coaching with me? Give me a yes, no in the chat. Would you like for me to show you how it's possible? All right, I'm seeing lots of yeses in the chat. Awesome. Well, here's the deal. You're probably thinking, what's the catch? Well, let me tell you. Kevin paid for my secrets, but also for my time, because I had to get on calls with him and I had to personally sit down and teach him everything, how it's done. So I soon realized that it's no way to help people because I can only help so many people if I do these one-on-one calls. So I became the bottleneck for many people who needed my help. So I had to figure out a different way, a better way to serve them. And so that's why I packaged my method into this system. And like Brian here says, Igor knows exactly what he's doing. In the last 3 days alone, I've made over $350. And Chrissy here actually built an email database of 9.9 thousand emails, and her e-brokering business started making over $10,000 a month. She was able to retire her husband, Randy, who got injured at work, and she was able to start taking these long walks in the woods every day and not have to worry about income. Emil is here from Lithuania. I actually ended up working with him and with his brother. They went through the system, and Emilis ended up building an income first to 10K per month, then to 20K per month, then to $30,000 a month. Okay, and he says, listen to Igor and do everything he tells you, and you'll see success in your online business. He actually ended up starting a software company that ended up becoming a sponsor to one of Lithuania's basketball teams. So it's pretty crazy. I mean, the guy is incredible. He's super brilliant, super sharp. I was just there to help him along the way. Now, what I mean to say with this is that the system has created countless success stories, and I really want you to be the next success story for the system, which is why I would like to give you 88% off my $8,000 mentoring fee and get started with my system for just $997. And I'll even back it up with a guarantee that you go through my system, and if it's nothing like I say it is, if it doesn't meet your expectations, okay, for any reason, you can just email me at support@listbuildinglifestyle.com or call 530-456-4094 for a hassle-free refund. And I'll ask my team to put this information in the chat for you as well so you can save it for yourself. Now, I'm offering you this guarantee, even though I know you won't need it, but I offer it to you so you have a peace of mind, because I know you've had the bad experience in the past. We've all had this experience of getting into a program and then, discovering that it's just not what was promised to us. Like, genuinely, I feel it for you. I've had this experience myself. So you get a get out of jail free card. Go in. If you don't like it, if it doesn't meet your expectations, if anything I said here is not true, just email me or call us, and you'll get a hassle-free refund. But again, I know you won't need it because of students like Bruce. Bruce says, I'm a retired chemistry teacher. I've got more degrees than a thermometer. I was trying to make money online for 2 years before I met Igor. I asked him to help me with eBrokering, and now I've got 3 eBrokering businesses. I'm growing and making sales. Igor is a man of integrity, and I highly recommend his eBrokering system. Now, my successful students, they all share an X factor, which I'd like to share with you before opening the doors into the program. And this is Juan. He's from Panama. When he approached me, he had $1,500 to his name, and he was a recovering alcoholic. He just got married. He really wanted a new start in life, and he was really, really nervous. And he really wanted me to almost like lay down the whole foundation, like before getting him started. And I told him, man, you got to jump in, you got to trust the process and just do as I tell you, okay? And he did. As a result, he built an online business that's able to produce as much as almost $11,000 in just 72 hours. Very happy, ended up buying a Maserati and a BMW X5 the same year, and just complete life change, had a baby, etc. And the X factor that Juan and many of my other students share in common is decisiveness. They don't have it all figured out. They may even have some doubts, okay? But they act anyway because they know that they will create this outcome sooner rather than later. So this is what I call the ready, fire, aim approach. And this is an absolute must to have if you want to become successful in anything, but also with eBrokering. Now, to encourage you to show me the ready, fire, aim mentality, I put together an ethical bribe, a fast action bonus for the first 30 people to take action and enroll into my eBrokering system. First, I'm going to give you same day email and phone support. So there's a clear, a concrete, a bulletproof, no student left behind policy in my company. I've got a dedicated full-time support staff to support you. So if there's anything, we get back to you quickly. And if there's anything super unique, we can even record video responses by me for any out of the ordinary requests. Now, this is one of my comments from my Trustpilot that says, I can see that Igor has gone out of his way and made it a point to ensure he provides superior support to his customers. Olivia, who provides email support, is quick and she's getting back very fast. This alone, which I have not really experienced so far, this kind of quickness and support really nailed it for me as far as giving Igor the 5-star review. It's $300 value. Okay, it's yours as a bonus for free if you're in the first 30 people to enroll. Second, I'll give you lifetime updates for the whole system because while things do not stop working, they do evolve. Every now and again, an interface will be updated, etc. So I will get you updated training materials for free. You will not have to pay for it. It's lifetime, and you can stay up to date with what's working and what's no longer working as well. This is $500 value, and it's yours free if you're in the first 30 people to enroll in the system. Next, my premium e-learning e-royalty programs Rolodex. As promised, these are the programs that will help you maximize your income by working with proven premium private income streams, okay? The ones that have made me 6 figures or more. So you can get paid more money compared to the average e-learning royalty program, okay? And you can avoid trial and error, and again, make more money in less time this way because I've gone through the testing. Okay, so you too can get payments like these. This is $700 value, and it's yours as a bonus. This doesn't exist for sale anywhere, by the way. This is only available as a fast action bonus to those of you who enroll and be in the first 30 people. Next, e-automation quick start guide. Now, e-automation can be confusing if you're not tech savvy, and so to help you avoid getting lost in unimportant technical detail, I show you the meat and potatoes on how to use it to make money. Think of it this way. When you learn how to drive a car, do you go under the hood of your car to know exactly how the carburetor or the engine works, or how the combustion process, how the oxygen gets into the engine and combines with the gasoline to create a spark plug? No, right? We don't want to know that. We just get in the car, turn on the ignition, learn how to use the gearbox, and learn the rules of the traffic rules. Same thing here. You will not have to get under the hood. You'll just know exactly how it's used to make money so you can get the outcome and not get bogged down in the details. That's $200 value, and it's yours free as a bonus if you're in the first 30 to enroll. Next, fill in the blanks e-letters. Now, these letters are important. Why? Because e-brokers make royalties by forwarding recommendation letters suggesting e-learning programs, aka e-letters, right? Now, most e-learning royalty programs will come with pre-written e-letters. The problem is that some e-letters work well, some don't work so well, and some, they just suck. They don't work at all. So I developed a set of foolproof e-letters that will boost your results, and you can use them with any e-learning program because they're fill in the blanks, easy to use. This is $1,200 value and yours for free if you're in the first 30 to enroll. Again, this is not for sale anywhere else. This is very specific and unique to this particular program. Next, I will give you the passive income machine training. Now, I wasn't born rich. I'm not a trust fund child, and you heard my life story, so I could never really go into things like buying stocks or real estate. I didn't have the money for that. So I created the system to start making passive income using a one-page website, a pretty ugly one at that, and email marketing. And so I used it to build multiple streams of income that last. And so I will share with you exactly how I did it. It's a $400 value, and you get it for free as a bonus if you're in the first 30 people to enroll. Next, I would like to give you my eLearner Rent Databases Rolodex as promised. Earlier, I spoke about this. These are the proven go-to sources that I work with. So the more your eLearner email database grows, the more royalties it will produce for you, right? We established that earlier. So the key to fast income growth is to quickly generate lots of email addresses on autopilot. Now, this is done through renting email databases of existing e-learners owned by other people. And in the core mentoring program, I actually show you how to find these databases yourself. But in this bonus, I'm giving you the specific databases to work with that I've personally vetted for you. This is how Justin here was able to add hundreds upon hundreds of email addresses to his database while making hundreds and hundreds of dollars at the same time. So this is $1,000 value, and it's yours for free. Again, not for sale anywhere else. This is only available here right now with this special offer if you're in the first 30 people to enroll. Next, eBrokering Profits Multiplier site. After transitioning to become a full-time e-broker, I stumbled into a secret strategy that doubled my royalties, and it was like an accidental discovery. It involves using a super simple one-page website that increases conversions. So in this bonus, I'm giving you the template for this website so you can use it to double your profits too. This is $500 value, and it's yours free if you're in the first 30 people to enroll. I'm also going to give you my e-learning campaign in a box training. Now, what is this? Well, would you like to watch over my shoulder as I build an entire campaign for a premium e-learning royalty program entirely from scratch? I think you would. Okay, because originally I created this to free up my time to outsource this to an assistant, but it ended up being so good and so thorough, I decided to give it to my students so they can learn from this and even follow along with me. And you can even not just follow along yourself, but use it as training to teach a friend or a family member. Maybe you've got like a teenager in their late teens to help you with this and do this project together. So this is $1,000 value, not available for sale anywhere else, yours free if you're in the first 30 people to enroll. Next, I would like to give you 7 swipe-ready e-brokering campaigns. Now, I created and ran, at least over 1,000 e-brokering campaigns at this point and made millions upon millions of dollars. So I handpicked 7 of my all-time most profitable ones and gave them to you to study and or copy. But this is personal use rights only. You cannot resell this. You cannot give this stuff away. You cannot share this with anyone. This is only for you, okay? Very important. This is $2,000 value, and it's yours free if you're in the first 30 people to enroll. Finally, I would also like to give you the one-click done-for-you e-brokering system foundation. Now, what is that? All e-brokering campaigns are based on the same foundational components, right? So kind of like when you build a house, you got the walls, the foundation, the plumbing system, etc., right? So every house is the same in that way. So I packaged them into a click-ready system because it's always the same process. You can clone it with a few clicks of your mouse and use it as a foundation to build your first e-brokering system, and then your second, third, and fourth, and so on. This is $4,000 value, and it's yours for free if you're in the first 30 students to enroll today. So to get all this, the e-brokering system plus AI suite and coaching, the priority support, the lifetime updates, the premium royalty programs, the e-automation quick start, the fill-in-the-blanks e-letters, the passive income machine, the e-learner rented databases, the e-brokering profits multiplier site, the e-learning campaign in the box, the 7 swipe ready campaigns, and the done for you e-brokering system foundation. To get all this, you need to go to igor.top/royalties right now and enroll in the program. And this is going to be the best decision you're ever going to make for yourself if you're interested in making more money, having more freedom, not having a boss, not having to deal with people or paperwork, and become financially independent and build a better future for yourself and your family. Okay, so the link is igor.top/royalties. And you can either go to your favorite web browser and type in that address in the browser, or you can click on the link that my team posted in the chat for you and just go. Don't wait and fill the form up and enroll in the system, because all these fast action bonuses are only available to those who are in the first 30 people to enroll in the system. And I want to remind you that I do it because I believe that the most successful people that I will ever work with are decisive. I want to work with decisive people because they will become success stories. And I am always hunting for more success stories. Now, with that said, we're going to now do some Q&A, and I'm going to enable a timer, which is really there for me, not for you, so I can keep track of time for myself. But let me just tell you up front that as soon as that timer is over, we're going to wrap up the call and your opportunity will be gone. Okay, so with that said, if you have any questions whatsoever, then it's time to post them in the chat right now so I can answer them for you. I also have a few common questions that people ask me, which we will cover. And I will also be sharing with you additional case studies, although I'm pretty sure you can already tell this is amazing. But I got plenty of more case studies, and I couldn't even fit all of my case studies into single presentation because this would be hours and hours and hours. But I show you some really cool case studies, which I think are really worth your time. Okay, so let's get going. All right, so first case study I want to share with you is one by Riz. Riz is from the Philippines, and he says that so far he's made $6,819.22 in just 16 days this month working from coffee shops. He says, I don't think I would have come this far, this fast without you. Okay, next, David here. So David here is an incredible story. Basically, he used to work for this big company in Canada called Rogers. So if you're in Canada, you know what Rogers is. It's actually almost like a monopoly, but it's kind of like AT&T in the U.S. And he used to really hate that job, and it all came to a really low point when one Christmas he was talking to his boss, and he kind of told him, "Hey, I'm gonna take Christmas off with my daughter." And his boss said, "Well, and who's gonna work if you take the Christmas off?" He's like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "Well, you have to stay and work Christmas." And so he realized then that he doesn't have a say in his life. In other words, like someone else was calling the shots and telling him when he can or cannot spend time with his daughter. Now, it rubbed David the wrong way. And from that point forward, he actually decided to make a change. And so he attempted several different ways to make money online. And I remember him distinctly because one time he approached me, he messaged me on social media. I was still on social media at the time. I later on got off social media because it was very distracting. And, he really wanted into my program, but he wanted to get in for free, right? And I said, dude, I'm not, if you're good at something, first off, if you're good at something, to quote the Joker, don't do it for free. And second, if you get in for free, you won't value it. And so, I did not let him in. And then, a couple of years later, he came back. And what's crazy is that he says, Igor, it was such a mistake not enrolling with you because I wasted for 2 years. So he enrolled with me, and very quickly, within just a year, he went on to build an e-brokering business that generates over $100,000 per month, right? Over $100,000 per month. This is crazy, right? So he obviously became a really big success story for me. We actually became good friends when I moved to Canada from Israel. And we used to hang out a lot until he ended up moving to Thailand, where he likes it better than in cold Canada. I don't blame him. Canada is really cold. And so, David continues to this day thanking me every time I message with him. And, he keeps saying how the biggest mistake ever was to not enroll into my program when he had the chance to do it the first time, because of how much time he wasted. Now, Chrissy here, her story is really interesting. She was a freelancer. She was tired of clients really bossing her around and haggling on her price and not paying her and having to chase them. And so she ended up transitioning into e-brokering. And within just 6 months or so, she was already making full-time income with this. But it also came at the just perfect time. Sometimes things happen in life when you're at the right place at the right time and the right person appears, because her husband, Randy, who was working manual labor, got injured, and his boss refused to, or the insurance company refused to pay some kind of a settlement, whatever. And so he ended up without a job, with lots of medical bills, and she ended up scaling her e-brokering business to 14, 15, at one point $20,000 per month, which came in really, really handy. Now, the other great thing she was able to do is she established a new tradition, and she started taking her girlfriends out on a boat trip every year, where for 2 or 3 days, she would rent a boat, she would cover all expenses, and she would just hang out with her friends. Now, I see a question, can this be done by anyone worldwide? Or is there any geographical restrictions? So this is done by anyone from anywhere. As you're going to see with many different case studies that I'll show you, starting with this one. So this is Lenin from Ecuador, and he ended up building an $8,000 per month e-brokering business within just 4 or 5 months or so, maybe slightly less, maybe slightly more. But he came in, not a native English speaker, although his English was pretty good. He was doing this from Ecuador. He's a single dad, so at least he was single dad at the time. And he was able to do it perfectly, no problem. Remember, by the way, guys, that I started in Israel. I'm a Ukrainian born, my family immigrated to Israel, and then later on, after I became successful with e-brokering, I went on to move to Canada. And now actually my home is kind of split between Canada and Bulgaria, which is a place I'm checking out right now and establishing my second home over here. So yeah, there's no geographical restrictions whatsoever. The only restriction is in your mind. That's the only thing. Whatever your self-imposed limiting belief is, that's the only restriction, okay, that will get in your way. Now, another question I see is how long to set it up. Not very long. And if you're committed and dedicated and you can give it 30 minutes a day or maybe several hours on the weekend, you can do it fairly fast, and it's much faster than you'd expect. Like I said, there's no convoluted 50 hours of, content to go through. This is actually very simple. And like I said, 30 minutes a day is all I'm asking you. If you can't do 30 minutes a day, then can you give me, 3 to 4 hours on the weekend? That will be fine as well. Celeste here says, I'm a full-time mom of 3 kids. and I've got an offline business that keeps me busy. I wanted to add another source of income that wouldn't take much of my time. After just a couple of months of your e-brokering system, I've added an additional income of $3,000 per month that runs on its own. So as you can see, not only a moms are pretty busy, of course, but also a business owner. So she was able to fit that right in. If she can do it, like if a busy mom and a business owner can do it, I think anyone can do it as long as they're not lazy and complacent, of course, right? Now, another question I see here is, do I need to have a big social media following to get started? No, no. In fact, I know it's going to sound crazy, you don't need any kind of social media following at all. Your e-brokering income will not depend one bit on you posting what you had for dinner on Instagram. Okay, you will not have to dance on TikTok. Nothing like that. Forget about it altogether. Okay, this does not involve social media at all. You can be completely invisible online and do this. Okay. Another question is, what if I don't have any technical skills? Will I be able to set everything up? Yes. It is, like I said, paint by numbers easy because I'm showing you how to do everything on screen. Literally point and click simple. So even if you are technologically illiterate, even if you've got anxiety as soon as you touch, a laptop, whatever, you can still do it. Remember, I taught how to do this to an 82-year-old teacher. Okay, if I could teach this to an 82-year-old teacher, I'm sure you can learn this too. You just have to get rid of the limiting belief that somehow it's not possible for you. Okay. Next, do I need to be an expert in e-learning to succeed with this? No. No, 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 no. You don't need to be an expert in e-learning. You don't need to produce your own e-learning programs. Nothing like that. Um, should you have a passion for e-learning? I'd say yeah, but if you're on this training, you probably have a passion for e-learning because you're obviously showing with your actions that you love learning. So no, you don't need to be an expert at it one bit because you're not supposed to be the next Tony Robbins. You're just there suggesting, forwarding, recommending. You're not actually there to do any kind of selling or rely on your own credibility of any kind. You don't even have to use your own name or any kind of credentials. Okay, it's not required. So Justin here says, I reached out to Igor shortly after my mother passed to cancer. I was having trouble to keep up with the mortgage payments and was just a couple of months away from the bank taking my mother's home. Igor showed me how to quickly build an e-brokering business in my spare time, and in my first year, I made almost $100,000. I not only saved my mother's home, but also quit my 9 to 5. So Justin's story is incredible. Not only he made money and quit his day job, which is in itself amazing, but he was able to rescue his family home where he had all these memories grown up. And I think, I think it's quite incredible. Kind of like that, case study with KJ that was able to put a down payment on a brand new family home with e-brokering money so he can build new memories. So this is, making money is one thing, and it's great. It's why most people would get into e-brokering, I'm sure, but it's not why you will stick to it. Money is great, sure, but it's the life-changing impact that it has that will actually be very satisfying. And some people think that money is the root of all evil, that somehow rich people are evil. Well, they're actually misquoting the Bible because the Bible says, for the love of money is the root of all evil. It's the greed that's the evil part of it. Money itself is just a multiplier of your personality. So if you're a generous, giving, good person, right, if you want to do good to people, money will only multiply your ability to do it. Okay, while not having money will hinder and limit and inhibit that ability. So whether you want to spoil your loved ones or be more, contributing to your community or your church or some cause, you can only do that if you have a lot of money and your own bills are paid. So speaking of technical stuff, here's Bruce, a chemistry teacher, right? He says, I've got more degrees than a thermometer. I was trying to make money line for 2 years before I met Igor, and now he's got 3 email databases, and he's making money. And he says, Igor is a man of integrity. I highly recommend his e-brokering system. Bill here, I mentioned him briefly at the start. So Bill had a ton of student loan debt, a wedding he needed to pay for, and a day job he couldn't quit because he was going through some kind of a commitment or contract. So he actually would wake up at 5 a.m., put an hour into this, then go to the gym, and then go to work. And in 3 months, he hit 3K per month, and the next month, he actually doubled it to 6K per month. So it was quite incredible. Jeffrey here, interesting guy. So Jeffrey is a former police officer, and Jeffrey says, Igor is an excellent mentor. With just one thing he showed me, I took my e-brokering business to 20,000 per month. Whatever he's offering, don't think twice, take it. Now, with Jeffrey, I have to give you like a quick caveat, because he came to me and he was already making money with e-brokering. And he didn't really come to me for coaching. We were kind of brainstorming and masterminding, really. I just suggested a couple of things, which he quickly implemented, and he was able to double his income. Now, this is not so much a testament to my brilliance. It's more a testament to how quickly you can scale your income when you've got an operating e-brokering business, right? It's very easy to scale. It's very easy, and we're talking exponentially scalable, not incremental scaling from like $1,000 a month to $1,200 a month. We're talking scaling from 1,000 a month to 2,500 a month, from 2,500 a month to 5K a month, from 5K a month to 10K a month, from 10K a month to 20K per month, and so on. You know, when I started making money with eBrokering, finally, I was able to go from roughly $1,200 a month to 10K a month in just 6 months, which I think is fairly quickly. Show me a job that can give you a raise that fast. But then to scale from 10K a month to 20K per month took me just another 3 months. To scale from 20K a month to 40K a month, another 3 months, and then another 8 months to scale to $80,000 a month. Then very quickly I was able to scale to beyond $200,000 a month. And it is just, I mean, the sky's the limit on this. So if you're the kind of person who values unlimited potential, like, you need to get into this. You seriously need to go to the link in the chat or to the link you're seeing on the screen and get involved in the system. Plus all the bonuses I'm giving you, okay, they're absolutely you're gonna smoke it. You're gonna absolutely crush it, because you won't find any of this stuff anywhere else. We're talking custom made, speed inducing bonuses to help you get to your first e-brokering royalty as fast as possible. Okay, that's the job. The job is not to give you lots of knowledge. The job is not to make you knowledgeable of e-broker. You don't need to be knowledgeable about it. You just need to go and get results. That's the focus of my system, to get you from zero to hero as fast as humanly possible. Okay? That's why I put together this incredible bonus package with priority support, with the lifetime updates, with premium e-royalty program Rolodex, the e-automation quick start training, the fill in the blanks e-letters, the passive income machine training, the e-learners rent database Rolodex, the e-brokering profits multiplier site, the e-learning campaign in the box training, highly valuable stuff. The 7 swipe ready campaigns. I mean, show me an e-broker who's revealing his campaigns. Nobody's doing that, guys. And of course, done for you e-brokering system foundation is going to save you time. It's going to save you money time and time again. Arun here says it's not just the money, but the freedom and confidence that comes with it. I wouldn't have been able to achieve it without your help, Igor. Angeli here says, Before Igor, I had a number of coaches who promised to teach me how to make money online, but it wasn't until I hooked up with Igor that I started seeing results. Now I easily make $100 a day. You can't find a better person to work with than Igor. Andrea here, she's from Romania. And she says, I was on the edge because my employer hasn't paid my salary in a few months. I borrowed money from my mother to start with your program. Now I make $3,000 per month with my e-brokering business. Now, $3,000 a month, I think it's a great income for Romania, especially if you just end up traveling, throughout the world. Derman here, I mentioned him earlier. He's from Malaysia, barely spoke any English, ended up building a 4,400 email database very quickly and started making as much as $370 in just 2 hours. Now, real quick, I want to welcome some of the people who joined the program already. It's my team who's feeding me this information. Okay, so these people are for sure are in the first 30 to enroll and therefore will qualify for these bonuses. I've got Anne. Anne, welcome to the program. Virginia, welcome to the program. I'm excited to work with you. We've got Michael and Jason. Congratulations. Stacy is in. Mel and Travis and Stephanie and Isabella. Congratulations. I don't know if you're counting, guys. I know that's like probably some like 9 or 10 people already. I see Derek and Chloe and Ethan. Congratulations, guys. Welcome to the program. I got Natalie, Jordan, and Sophie. Congrats. Welcome. Liam, Wendell, and Lowell. Welcome to the program as well. If I missed any names, forgive me, please, because the system takes a little bit of time to update. But I just wanted to welcome at least some of you and let you know that you're in and you're qualified for the fast action bonuses. And I also wanted to remind anyone who's still on the fence that right now is the time. If you've been waiting for the sign, right, to act, the time is now. The moment is here. Right? When is the best time to plant a tree, as the old Japanese proverb says? 10 years ago. When's the next best time? Now. Now. So use the link that you see on the screen, or you can click the link in the chat and go and enroll in the program. This is going to be life-changing for you. If you're looking for more freedom, if you're looking for a higher income, the ability to have control over your life, if you want more fun, more possibilities, you need to make a lot of money, and you need to find a way to make money that doesn't, tie you to your workplace. I know so many people, great people, smart, sharp, brilliant people that work way too hard for their money, and they're overworked and stressed out. And in spite of doing all of that, they're just paying the bills. My really good friend, one of my best friends in Canada, his name is, I'm actually not going to name his name for privacy reasons because I didn't get his permission. Basically, let's call him Alex. So he's a lawyer. Okay, and he's an in-demand lawyer, like the kind of lawyer who's got a big staff, interns working for him, etc. And he's working from like 9 a.m. till 10 p.m. every day. Okay, this guy has a kid, goes like, has lots of hobbies, etc. But he's always stressed out, always short on time, like never has time to have a cup of coffee, barely has the time to like maybe a few minutes to make a phone call, and it's always hectic. And what's terrible, I think, is that his income is really tied to the hours that he's working. This is the one thing I've always hated about any job or even most businesses. In most businesses, the income is tied to your clock. So if you've worked for an hour, you get paid X dollars. So if it's a low level job, like I know what's the going rate today, 15 bucks, 20 bucks, I don't know. I don't really check that. I have been out of the workforce for too long. If it's a high paying job, what it's like $50 or $100, but there's only so many hours in the day, right? There's only so many days in a week. So you're always limited how much you can earn. You're always limited because there's only so many hours, and physically, there's only so many hours that you can actually work. You don't want your income being tied to your clock. You don't want to be punching the clock, so to speak. You really don't. Instead, what you want to be doing is you want to be getting paid regardless of whether you work or not. Like, for example, today so far, if I take a look, today wasn't like a huge day for me or anything like that. Not the biggest, right? But I received, since the morning, I've already made $8.5 thousand came in for in royalties for something that I've done about, I don't know, maybe 2 months ago. I had a $10 payment come in, $10, $10, $100, $10, 197, 1500, 497, 197, 191, $100, $10, $197, $1,000, 750, 1500. Okay, so all this came in today, whether or not I would be working or not. This is not like I didn't have to make anything happen. Like I didn't have to go and trade my hours for dollars. You really never want to be stuck in that trap because it's a trap. Hours for dollars is a lie. No one has to tie their time to money. They say time is money. No, I refuse to believe that. In fact, I'm one of the laziest persons you'll ever meet, okay, who doesn't really work very many hours on a daily basis. And my income certainly is not tied to the hours that I work. Whether I work 2 hours today, 6 hours tomorrow, no hours the next day, it doesn't affect my income because thanks to e-automation, email databases, and getting paid these royalties. So Albie here used to be a truck driver. He says, I recently ran an e-brokering campaign with Igor's system and netted $10,000 in just 3 days. There's still more sales coming through, so I expect to make even more. Now, again, disclaimer with Albie, he actually came in to me. He knew what eBrokering was. He had a small email database, but he never really knew how to utilize it. So I just showed him how to do it, and voila. Ed here says, I quadrupled my eBrokering income since I started working with Igor. I went from just paying the bills to having freedom. Ed is amazing. He came in, he was making, I think, $3,000 with eBrokering already, but he was working around the clock. And I was looking at him and I said, Ed, you're doing this wrong, man. And so I showed him how to do it. And he was able to first double and then quadruple his income while actually taking 2 months off without internet. Okay, think about this, 2 months off without internet to go around the country in an RV with his wife. Des here, we mentioned him earlier, says I couldn't have done without Igor. I make all of my income online. He's a former offline business owner, used to run a big painting factory, I think. I could be misremembering this. And he was tired of that. Kiara from Malta says, I recommend anyone who wants to get into eBrokering to work with Igor. Igor is second to none. Dave says, I've got 2,556 emails on my eBrokering business in just 3 weeks. It works. I haven't quit my day job yet, but I've already made $2,013.70, and I like where this is going. Now, we're getting close to time, and I want to welcome a couple more people. I don't know. I'm not keeping the count as to how many spots are left. So remember, guys, you get the fast action bonus if you're in the first 30 people to enroll. And so I want to welcome Howard. Welcome to the program, man. I want to welcome Maurice, Brenda, Rob, and Christian. Oh, wow, Christian, just like my son's name. So I want to welcome all of you guys as well. And I can still see people coming in. Look, guys, you don't really have much time left, and there's not too many spots left if you want to get the fast action bonuses, if you want to get the priority support, the lifetime updates, the premium royalty programs, the e-automation quick start, the fill-in-the-blanks e-letters, the passive income machine training, the e-learners rented databases, the e-brokering profits multiplier site template, the e-learning campaign in the box training, the 7 swipe-ready campaigns, and the Done For You eBrokering System Foundation. If you want to get all this, you need to enroll right now, okay, while there's still a few spots left for the fast action bonuses. Okay, be like my other students. Here's Daniel from Sweden who says, I just had my first $2,500 month. I've never made so much money online before. Corey here, amazing story. So Corey actually came in, he had a Tourette syndrome. Still has Tourette syndrome, and he ended up blowing up his e-brokering income to over $20,000 per month in like 8 or 12 months or so. And amazing student, amazing fast action taker. Basically, the guy came in ready, fire, aim, asked very little questions, just took the system, ran with the system, and absolutely blew it up. Just did exactly what I told him to do. Next, we got Brian here who says, even before I discovered eBrokering through Igor, I kept hearing about people making money with emails, but I didn't know how to build my own email subscriber base. I never even got started. But when I hooked up with Igor in just a couple of months, I was able to start making $100 a day consistently. Chris here says, Igor's training program has made me more money in a single week than all the other things I've ever done online. And Darren says, I've already had my first $100 day, and shortly after my first $300 day. Igor's experience is unparalleled in the industry. If you get a chance to work with Igor, you should take it. Brian here says, Igor knows exactly what he's doing. In the last 3 days alone, I've made over $350. And Anthony says, I made $40,000 over and above my job income this month. Emilis, I mentioned him earlier. He went on to build a $30,000 per month e-brokering income and ended up starting like a startup company, which he funded with the money he made with e-brokering, then ended up sponsoring like a basketball team. So I mean, the guy's really, like, he had big dreams, and e-brokering was really just a stepping stone towards something bigger for him, and that's okay. Some people like that. I have another student, his name is Moshe. He is from Israel. He ended up doing e-brokering. Then he used the money to fund a small software startup because he's from IT background, and he then ended up building a bunch of Shopify apps. And again, he wouldn't be able to do it without e-brokering because that is what allowed him to quit his day job and build up the capital that he otherwise would need in order to fund all that. Justin here became an incredible success story. He says, I had a little bit of capital and some credit, but no income and no plan about what I'm going to do next to support myself. In fact, before we got together, he took on a waiting job, waiting tables, just to cover the bills. So then he says, before meeting Igor, I've had a little bit of experience, but nothing that would stick. Deciding to work with Igor was literally one of the greatest decisions I've ever made in my life. After 3 months, I started making $8,000 per month. It's been 6 months since I've known Igor, and last month I cleared $15,000 in profit. Not revenue, profit. So again, this is a single guy at the time in his 30s. Now we've got Alina here who says, we tried some things online before, like binary options, but just lost money. Then we learned about you and started reading about you and decided to contact you for help. This month, we've already made $7,000. This is amazing. Now, what's amazing is that she was doing this with her husband while going to a nursing school to become a nurse, right? While having 2 kids. That's the amazing part, right? And this is, by the way, this is a trend. It seems like moms are doing really well with our system. Eugene here says, before meeting Igor, I tried everything to make money online. Poker, Forex. Funny how people think poker is like a way to make money online. Like, it's not it's not just a card game, right? I mean, not everyone is Dan Bilzerian. SEO, you name it. So he says, today I've got a business that's capable of supporting me. This month I cleared 5 figures already, and it's only been half a month. This feeling of freedom and possibility is amazing. I wish everyone could experience this. So Eugene is actually Russian, ended up moving to Andorra, a small country next to Spain, with his wife, and ended up making a baby and starting a proper family. Jason says, joining Igor is undoubtedly the best decision I've ever made. Yesterday I smashed through my first $100 day. James here says, getting coaching from Igor allowed me to move from Connecticut to Florida. It's been the best decision I've ever made. A couple of weeks ago, I had a $970 day. This man literally saved my life. Ahmed here from Egypt says, since Igor is a trusted guy in the industry, I decided to join him. It was the best decision I've made for my online business and probably in my life. I am now making money every day. Jason says, Igor is my #1 mentor who has helped me scale up to $1,000 on a weekly basis. The best decision I've ever made in my internet marketing business is working and learning from him. And finally, I wanted to introduce you to another case study. His name is Igor. He's from Croatia. We are not related. He just so happens that his name is also Igor. And he says, before meeting Igor, I was making some money online, but it wasn't white hat, so I couldn't sleep at night knowing I'm going to have a long-term income. I decided to invest the time to build something reliable, something stable. Within 6 weeks of joining Igor, I'm already on track to hit $3,000 this month. It's impossible to put in words what you can find when you work with this guy. Now, there's many more case studies I could have shown you, but like I said, they wouldn't all fit into this presentation, and we would have to do a separate presentation just with the case studies. So let me just remind you that it's not about sitting here and watching and listening to more case studies. It's about you joining the ranks of the case studies and taking action. So go to the link you see on the screen or use the link in the chat and sign up, enroll in the system so you too can benefit from this. I've put together this incredible package for you, for the action takers, so you can finally break through and build something incredible and start making money online on your own terms and regain the freedom that you've been wanting. Okay, I don't care about your background, your age. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you're rich or you're broke. It doesn't matter if you have business experience or not. It really doesn't matter. What matters is, do you have the ready, fire, aim mentality? If you do, this is where you apply it. Okay, this is why I put together this incredible bonus package for you, valued at $19.8 thousand, where you get all these incredible bonuses if you're in the first 30 people to enroll. But let me put it this way. I don't know if we already have the first 30 people or not, but if you just enroll before we're done here today, okay, I will honor the fast action bonuses, because to me, it's not about that. It's not about, oh, I'm going to prevent someone from getting the bonus. It's not about that. It's about getting you off your butt and take action, because you, like me, like everyone else, you've probably had bad experiences before where you got excited about something, you got involved, and then you gave up very quickly. Well, I've designed my program so it's not about getting you more knowledge. It's about getting you from zero to your first royalty and then to your next royalty as fast as possible. It's designed for action. And it only takes 30 minutes a day for the next 30 days for you to start seeing those results. So do yourself a favor. Your future self will thank you. And go to igor.top/royalties or use the link in the chat. Okay, go there. You'll see an order form, fill out your details, and get into the system. Remember, you're backed up by an unconditional, no risk guarantee. Get in, take a look around, go through it for all I care. Take 29 days and 23 hours to squeeze every drop of juice from it. And then you can write to me and say, Igor, I want my money back, and get your money back hassle-free. I'm offering this unconditional guarantee because, I just want you to have no excuses. No reasons not to try this. I've made this incredible offer, which would be silly not to accept, not to take advantage of, right? I'm giving you the guarantee, so there's no risk for you. I've priced it within reach for anyone who is serious about building a life of freedom and opportunity and possibility. And now, while I open the door for you, I cannot make you go through it. Even Dale Carnegie said, you can't help someone up who doesn't want to be helped, right? Or like that old joke where the guy's neighbor wins the lottery and becomes rich, and the guy turns to God and he says, "Oh God, why don't I ever win the lottery?" To which God in turn, descends from heaven and says, "Bro, buy a ticket," right? So look, you can either be rich with excuses, or you can be rich. You can't be rich with both, right? You can either be rich with excuses or you can be rich with money, not both. Sure, I'm sure there's reasons for you not to take action today. I've had my reasons. Every one of my students had reasons not to take action, but they took action in spite of that. They took action in spite of having reasons not to, and look what happened. So I'll let you make your own conclusions on that. I hope you enroll in the system, and I hope I will see you inside, because the next coaching call is going to be this Monday. We get on coaching calls every Monday. So I hope to see you there. If I don't, well, thank you for your time today. And I still think you spent valuable time here today with me to learn about eBrokering, because that alone can be life-changing, even if you don't get involved with it now, but later. But let me tell you, those who get involved now rather than later are certainly setting themselves up with a massive advantage. And with a mentoring program like this, with all the tools and support and the bonuses, their journey will be so much faster and so much easier, and they're going to become successful so much faster. So again, one more time, go to the link you see on the screen, go to the link you see in the chat, enroll in the system, and let's make it happen. This is Igor Kafetz. Thank you so much for being here today. Until next time we chat, have a good one. And all of you who enrolled in my system, I'll see you on the next coaching call.
Hey, so let me just say a few things before we wrap these up. So the first one is that I want to say a big thank you to you, Igor, for the amazing knowledge you shared with us today, and even more, for the amazing opportunity you're making available to Wealthy Minds members. I know that not every person will be taking action, that not every person will be taking advantage of this incredible opportunity. I think this blue ocean, this is the right term to describe this, but I know that some people will, and I know that those people will achieve results already in the next days, and in a few months from now, they will be generating a passive 5-figure income, or maybe even more than that, with the royalties. So I really appreciate you giving our members this opportunity, you making this available to Wealthy Minds members. And of course, because I think this is a tremendous opportunity, I want to participate. I want to contribute to members who take action today, jump on board and start using eBrokering to earn with royalties. So here's what I'll do. I'll share with you a training, something I've never shared before. This is brand new. This is exclusive for this group of people. A training that will help you combine eBrokering with powerful, proven ad espionage strategies. So this is a training that will show you how you can discover what other people who are already into eBrokering, what they're doing, like exactly what they are promoting, how they are promoting it. You're going to see their exact campaigns. You're going to see the ones that are doing well, the ones that are not doing that well. You're going to be able to see exactly how they're generating traffic for their businesses. You will be able to see where those companies that own the offers that you will be promoting, who is promoting them and how they are promoting them, like where their traffic is coming from. You're going to be able to tap into successful strategies, pages, ads, everything. And here's the most important thing. This is not only a shortcut. This is something that will maximize the potential of your business and at the same time completely eliminate any risk that could be involved. Reason why is because you will not be guessing at any point. You're going to be just copying things that you know as a matter of fact, 100% sure and guaranteed that are profitable and that are working. And you're going to be able to literally copy and paste that. So this is a game changer, and this is something that when I discovered the power of doing this type of espionage online, originally for some other types of affiliate campaigns, this is something that took my business to a whole new level, and I was already like doing pretty well. So if you use this right from the beginning with your eBrokering business, you're gonna have like insider information that no one else has access to. You're going to have an advantage when competing with anyone else, including other people who are already working with Igor and who are already profiting with eBrokering. But this thing that you have, this ability, it's not just like a training. It's not just like a demonstration or something. No, this is actually something that will help you develop an additional skill. And that skill is going to be a permanent competitive advantage for you. So again, this is going to maximize, or perhaps I should say explode, the potential of your business, and at the same time eliminate any risk that you could potentially take for getting your business up and running. So this is really huge, and as I said, this is only for this select group of people who joins Igor's program live during this webinar. I've never shared this before, and I'll never share this again with anyone else. So it's important that you understand that this is your only chance to get access to this practical training. It's actually a demonstration. It's not just the slides or theory. It's a demonstration. It's like me doing it right in front of your eyes to develop this skill that will become your permanent advantage when running your eBrokering business. Not just in the beginning, but like literally forever. Okay, so yeah, with that being said, I want to thank everyone who attended today, and especially the ones who stayed until now, until this point, and congratulate every single person who's already made the decision of using this incredible business model to achieve results in the next days. Because actually what Igor is delivering here is incredible, and it's now in your hands. It's your decision that will determine your results in the next days, in the next month, and in the next year. So it's really in your hands now. And for those who have already taken action, I want to congratulate you and say that I'm excited to share this special bonus with you that will be a big game changer. All right, so that's it. Thank you, everyone. And I really hope to see you on the other side, and I really hope to contribute to your business with my training on ad espionage.